Hi there, I'm Dana. Welcome to this week's video. Today I want to talk about the television. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the television. I found that it was helpful at times in parenting. If, for example, I just needed to make a quick phone call or I had to get dinner on the table, having the kids sit down and watch a show made life a little easier, didn't it? But what I do find happening more and more often is people using television too much. I mean, there's a happy medium to everything, and TV watching, absolutely, too much of it can become hurtful. And here's where it affects sleep. And a lot of people don't know this, and it affects adult sleep as well. So this might be a little tip for you to take home with you today and apply to your own life. But what happens when we watch screens, and that could be the TV, the iPad, the iPhone, the computer, it doesn't really matter. If it's coming from a screen, it's emitting what's called blue light. You know, there's a whole spectrum of colors on light, and the blue one we know now really interferes with melatonin production. Now, if you don't know yet what melatonin is, it is a hormone that our body naturally secretes that helps us feel fatigued and ready for bed. And we need a certain level of it in our bodies to put us to sleep and keep us asleep through the night. Okay? So when we look at screens right before bed, this blue light is blasting right into our eyeballs, and it's inhibiting, it's preventing melatonin. I mean, you'll still get some of it, but you won't get enough to really feel significantly tired enough to fall asleep quickly and stay asleep. And so where I see this interfering with children is that a lot of people allow their children to watch TV right before bed, or even worse, until they fall asleep. And you know, I get it. Most kids will sit in front of a TV and they'll be very calm and it looks like it's relaxing, right? But what's happening in the brain is the opposite of what you want to be happening. It's very stimulating in the brain, and it's interfering then again with the melatonin. So my rule of thumb, and this applies in my own house as well, is no screens after dinner. So that's usually a good hour or two before my kids go to bed, that there's no screen time. And I try to apply that to my own life as well, because I find that when I don't, it really does affect the quality of my nighttime sleep. So what can you do instead, right? Like that time between dinner and bedtime can be a bit tricky. I get it. You've got to clean up the kitchen and there's things to do. You can get your kids involved in that the best you can, but we often go for a walk or a bike ride after dinner, or we play a game together. I mean, there's other things that kids can do. I think that's part of the problem too, is that when they become so reliant on screens, then when screens are off, it's like they don't know what to do with themselves, right? They're just wandering around the house like, oh, what can I do? And you have to encourage them to find things to do that don't involve staring at some sort of mechanism. And most of the time it just requires a little bit of a prompter, right? Like I'll suggest to my own children, you know, why don't you go and draw some pictures, or why don't you go play that game I just bought? And once you give them a little bit of a cue to what to do, then they'll go do it, and they'll often do it happily for, you know, at least a half an hour. So I want you to have a look at your child's schedule. And if TV is too close to bedtime, I want you to try, just for a week or two, removing it and seeing if that doesn't improve the quality of your child's sleep. And you might even apply it to your own life as well, and you'll see a big difference. Thanks for watching today. Sleep well.